Hey guys, bringing my thoughts on the latest Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance trailer that's just dropped, the announcement trailer. It's only 2.5 minutes long, so I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. Yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. So, immediately, and to disclose, I did watch this already, but we can immediately see a firearm, which is correct at the time. See a very early form of firearm, of course, very inaccurate, probably prone to mechanical issues, as in exploding in the hand. But this is correct for the time, so this is really foreshadowing the change in warfare that Europe would see pretty quickly around this time, because I think this is early 15th century, so we're closer to the end of the... Oh, we're more than halfway through the Hundred Years' War, and that's what started seeing cannons, I believe, really close to this time. And this is sort of foreshadowing, I guess, this isn't set in the area that Jan Žižka was in, who did revolutionize warfare, in particular with carts. So I'm glad we're seeing early forms of firearms. That guy got deleted. We see we're in a siege here. We can see we've got these shields set up. This guy's sitting behind them. They're being fired upon. So these guys are probably the besiegers. Okay, we're on top of a castle wall here. You can see this symbol here, 3 legs. From what I remember, that's very similar to what the Sicilian flag is, but I think the Sicilian flag has a head in the middle, or the symbol that's often depicted in video games to describe Sicily. You can see we've got our besieging units down here. We can see these sort of large shields used to protect people who can fire back at the defenders, probably with crossbows, cannons. Was that a cannon or was that a hand cannoneer? Let me just go back 1 second. See if I can... Okay, no, it is a hand cannoneer, and he's positioned himself. The depth looks kind of off here. Fidelity looks great, though. I'm not sure what he got struck by. Did he get struck by the hand cannon? Some bows. Not quite a long bow, but still quite large. Probably not strong enough to penetrate this armor, especially at this distance, but... A trebuchet. So yeah, we've got to see... I'm not sure what this structure is. It's some sort of fort, obviously, but... Trebuchet is positioned quite a fair ways in the background, in the back of the siege, and we have even more protection for it. Protect it from perhaps counter siege weaponry. We see it hit the walls. We have a beautiful landscape. We can see fortified position. We can see what looks like small fortified position down here. We've got it leading down into a valley. We've got a rock formation here. We can see the valley and the township that this castle is probably the administrative center for. So this, obviously we've got the nobles up here. In the village, whatever they're producing, looks like crops, agricultural community. Field, once again, beautiful fidelity. Flowers, it's probably spring. Really spring. We're at the gallows. Let's see. Smithy. All sorts of what looks like lamps, bellows, pot back here. We are a blacksmith by trade, or Henry was, so we have a beautiful city here. Incredible fidelity. Looks like we're at a graveyard, at least that's what we're flying over. And looks like there's 2 people here having a chat with them, and it looks like there's maybe another person walking. This is obviously, obviously, I think it's definitely a church. I think it'd be hard to dispute that with its turrets here. The windows particularly, I think, give it away. And the graveyard. Well, I'm pretty certain is a graveyard. And we can see a beautiful city. So they are going to add a city to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. which I think is great because the first game didn't have a city. We had large towns, but not large cities, especially not like this. We can see a city wall. Unless this is and this is way too big to just be a fort. And they're not going to build a wall like this around a small community, you know. So we can see we've got agriculture. It looks like cows, maybe sheep. Hard to tell. Bells going off. Small community with Henry overlooking. He looks about 5 years older. He's sort of got this 5 o'clock shadow thing going on. It's like we're in a festival here. You can see the wreath here. Red and white, ribbons. How many strings are on this instrument? It's like 11. It's got this one random string on its own down here. I'm not familiar with these instruments. It's like some sort of lute. Obviously a flute. Looks like we definitely have a wedding. I'm going to assume a wedding. I mean, this just looks like a wedding, but it's some sort of festival. It could just be a festival.
Becoming more than a peasant.
That's right. So obviously Henry started off as a peasant and rose to be a knight. So we're going to continue that story. Let's go. Looks like we got. These guys don't look happy. Or they don't look friendly, I should say. Oh, he's hit by arrows. Or bolts? No, those look like arrows, not bolts. Would they? It looks like he might be wearing chainmail though, or is that just Gambs? I think you might have to tell me if arrows would actually pierce through chainmail if that is indeed what he's wearing. Especially that far through. Yeah, I don't know about that. So we have crossbows here. So crossbows, if I remember rightly, weren't in the first game, so might be getting introduction to crossbows. We do have a floating mace here. Not attached to anything. The fidelity on the armor looks incredible, though. Is that Henry? I think that's meant to be Henry, but it... Yeah, it is Henry, but he is covered in blood and it just looks quite a bit older here. We have a duel. Start high. Once again, look at the fidelity in the armor. Look how colorful it is. That's incredible. I think we're often when we watch movies, they're often depicted as being dirty and grimy, especially when they're in the medieval period. But we can see the beautiful colors these guys have. Well, look at this. You got to remember, these knights were the wealthy elite. Like these guys, I think undoubtedly nobility. When you're on horses like this, when you've got armor like this. Look at the color. We have a siege. I think that's the villain from the first game, if I remember rightly. Yeah, it is. He's the one who kills your parents. Oh, we have a siege again by the looks of it. We have a raid. People hanging from the trees, very morbid. Shovel, sword. Yes, this is obviously in a battle scene. Looks like maybe a wagon. It's probably a raid of some sort. I think what's the term, like a chevauché? Henry is in a very compromised position here. I think if you're Henry now, you go to Plan Z, whatever it was. If you've lunged like that, this guy has control of your sword arm by the looks of it. And you're wide open. So I think if you're this guy, you just take a dagger and drive it somewhere where there's a gap. I mean, look how compromised he is. Well, I guess he's saved by the edge. Okay. Sword. Well, these look like flashbacks. Let's see a community of some sort. That might be a corral. Once again, the villain. Oh, A family murdered. Again, the gallows. Flashbacks, probably the first game. Okay. I remember seeing scenes like this in the trailers that led up to the first game, which was like 10 years ago now. There were very similar scenes to this. So once again, we're in a duel here. One-on-one duel. Very highly equipped soldiers here, so these are definitely elite soldiers. Oh, we have a mace here. That guy's probably... That's probably caught his arm, so he's probably going to have a pretty bruised arm here. It looks like it's just fallen short of his helmet. Oh, it's just grazed his helmet, so he's probably okay. Now he's not okay. He's probably concussed. We have a crossbow on horseback. I'd have to do my research to figure out if there were crossbowmen on horseback. Imagine, I don't know how you reload a crossbow on horseback. There's the amount of strength you need to reload one of those things. It's actually, I mean, you need a lot of strength to reload a crossbow. I don't know how you would, because normally you'd lever it on the ground. Although this maybe isn't as large as some of those crossbows. But riding at this pace and shooting a crossbow in what looks like a battle, we can see swords. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how you would shoot a crossbow on a horseback. Let alone, like, I mean, the weight that this has and the strength you need to pull it back is actually really high. Okay, we're in an alleyway. Looks like they've formed some sort of small shield wall, which is broken very quickly. These guys should be much tighter. I mean, what are these guys doing back here? Trying to get it frame by frame, but... Oh, we're attacking with it. So this is the same guy we were just looking at, but it looks like we're coming at him with an axe. The formation should have been tighter, no doubt, but... Attacking this guy with an axe, it's going to be tough. But if you hit him in the head and concuss him, take him down by the knee... He used to be an adventurer, but it's what happens, isn't it? Oh, look at that. The fidelity on this is crazy. Look at the detail. I mean, if this is in-game footage, I mean, that is incredible. Look at the detail on his outfit here. No doubt this guy's quite wealthy. We can see he's got a dagger, a goblet. That's incredible looking. That's an incredibly looking suit of, I don't know what it is, but no doubt he's a noble. It was either a cannon or a trebuchet shot, because that was huge. So we are definitely getting crossbows.
To men like you and me. You still have a long way to go till your work is...
Ooh, we can get a dog. I don't know why, but when I see this, it reminds me of there's a game that came out in, I think it was the early 2000s, and it was called A Dog's Life. I'm just imagining playing a game that... A Dog's Life, but in the early 15th century. It probably isn't a great life, to be honest, but... Once again, look at the armor. This is great. Kettle helmet. We have a face guard here, risen up. Heavy protection here. Although we are only wearing a breastplate. It doesn't look like we're wearing too much armor here. So this would protect from like a graze, but definitely another siege. We can see arrows in the walls here, wooden walls. Looks like we're getting third-person view. Oh no, this is probably the case. Sorry, that looked like it was a third-person camera view, which would be a surprise considering how important the first camera view was for this game. Because it really revolutionized the way first-person, I guess, combat games did combat. It's probably the most realistic depiction of medieval combat any game's produced, at least that I've played. Oh, that guy was about to get his unfortunate end. Oh, this guy's loading a hand cannon. So we can see... Yeah, look at this. I feel like this is going to be one of the most exciting aspects of combat, hand cannons, and some of the very earliest forms of hand cannons and firearm weaponry. Really looking forward to seeing how that's depicted, because I've never played a first-person game that had, firearms like this. Yeah, okay, so we are getting some gameplay here by the looks of it. Looks like they removed the HUD for it, but so it's like a hardcore mode. You can see. I wonder if they'll introduce like it exploding in your hand, because I have no doubt that many of these probably exploded in the hand, because this is the very earliest form of firearm combat, right? Also, 4-on-1, even though, yeah, this can penetrate armor. Especially at this range, 4-on-1 is not a good situation to be in, especially this close up. Graphical fidelity, let's be honest, we're all going to need new computers to play this game by the looks of it. I remember the first game. It ran pretty well, but you still needed pretty high-end specs. Peasant. So we have a drinking game. A jester. It's like he's got long elven ears. I think the mission this reminds me of the most is in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, that is. I think it was when you're with the priest and you and he engage in very unscrupulous behaviors that I'm sure the church at the time especially wouldn't have approved of, at least the ones back in Rome. Orphan. I guess he's an orphan, but he was an adult by the time he was an orphan. Love story. Warrior. Battle in what looks like a castle courtyard. Incredible. And there we have it, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
O merciful God, be kind.
What's going on here? Those guys were heavily armored. Those have to be in. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And there we have the problem, or one of the problems introduced with gunpowder warfare, in that a fire in the wrong spot of your fortress spells absolute disaster. PS5, Xbox X, and S, PC. Wishlist now. Coming 2024, that is early. Very early. Was not expecting it to be this soon. I would have expected late 2025 or mid 2025, but looks like we're going to get it. Looks like they've been working on it for probably. A game like this would take 5 or 6 years, no doubt, with that graphical fidelity, with the systems they have in place that no real game had before, that they had to really build up from scratch themselves. Oh, we have an idea. But yeah, that is the Kingdom Come Deliverance. I have done a little bit of research into it, and it is going to be largely centered around the city of Gutenberg, which we can see a depiction of here, famous for its cathedral, which I think whoever took this photo, Trentino, thank you for the photo. But this is a picture of, I believe, Gutenberg, or Kutnahora, however it's pronounced. So we can see this beautiful city. By Gutenberg, you can see its famous cathedral here, which is depicted in the game. I believe they released another trailer that showed them actually going into this castle. One guy was riding a horse and it went up to the castle, and they shot a video inside of it. So, and it looked very much like this, and much like some of the churches they were building in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, this is going to be depicted probably very, very accurately. The guys at Kingdom Come, or I think Warhorse Studios, the guys at Kingdom Come Deliverance who are making that game, go through, incredible effort to get historical accuracy. So very much looking forward to some of the churches, cathedrals, castles, and how accurate they are. I have no doubt I'll see videos of people, doing a breakdown of how accurate the churches are, because many of them still exist today, much like this one. Yeah. And this is a very, very wealthy city of its time period, so of course we know of the silver mines from the first game. And this is the city that was sort of one of the administrative and trade centers of the area, so it was very, very wealthy with its mines. So yeah, very much looking forward to seeing. I mean, a whole city depicted by these guys. Obviously, we saw the castles, the towns, and being able to see how accurate they could make it, the way they did the towns, was incredible. Now they're going to a whole city, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And I'm hoping they get, an accurate depiction of early 15th century. Hopefully we don't see any woad warriors, as was depicted, I guess, infamously now in that. I can't even remember the name of it now. But yeah, this is going to be the center. And of course, this is going to be leading up, this time period leads up to what is really what is it? A religious struggle with Yenziska, this game sort of foreshadows with the reign of Sigismund and all that. So, but yeah, that's my final thoughts on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Really looking forward to playing this game, and thanks for watching.